All right, everyone, we're back. And it's me, the kitty cat, and Charlene. We hope you're having a good start to the new year. This is the intro for fantasy football.
Oh.
That's it.
That was it? Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. I don't. Anytime anyone, look, I was busy. The new year's a stressful time for everyone.
Okay.
I had to. No, here's my intro with fantasy football. I joined one league this year with a bunch of comics. I always do this. I never take any interest in it. And then at the end of the season, somebody goes, "You owe me $75. I won the league." So that's what we're talking about this week. Hope you guys are having a good time. Play our songs.
Pal, you're good with words. You know that, man?
I think the gym is dumb.
Did Rachel walk in the room? Of course I've eaten a Baconator.
Man, if you ain't doing CrossFit, you can get CrossFit.
You're right. A long burger's not the worst idea I've ever heard.
That's your sitcom right there as a Mr. Fix-It-All who just can't fix his heart.
We will not be defending Atlantic City.
No accounting for taste. If it's something that somebody loves, let's try and celebrate it instead of shitting on it. Presented by DraftKings Fantasy Sports. Check out what DraftKings has to offer this season with code NAFT, because life's more fun when you're in on the action. DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Age and eligibility restrictions apply. Void where prohibited. See DraftKings.com for details. Get started on your resolutions with Factor so you're ready for the new year. Factor's ready-to-eat meal delivery takes the stress out of meal planning and sets you up for success in the new year. Head to factormeals.com/NAFT50 and use code NAFT50 to get 50% off. That's code NAFT50 at factormeals.com/NAFT50 to get 50% off. You can tell this is East Coast, West Coast, because Shane is awake and it's the afternoon and he's done things. And I'm just trying to get through some coffee on the West Coast here and just get my day started.
It's 11:30 where you're at.
Yeah, but like on
Stop
Sunday,
acting
man.
like a rooster caught up before you. Like, this is crazy.
I was, you know.
What's on the mug there, Kyle?
just
Looks like
getting into
Jurassic
the
Park
day.
logo.
Oh, this is this is a school that's in the Hollywood Hills that the Sklar brothers did like a benefit for. And we did it at some clubhouse at the top of the Hollywood Hills. And I'm like, what do you need money for? I'm like, I just kept pointing to the lights down at the bottom of the hill. Like, those people don't even have homes. But we're up here dancing for you people because your lacrosse rackets are frayed. Like, what is this for? Anyway, it's very disrespectful.
You're really good
people
around people with money, because I remember when you told me you did that restaurant gig earlier this year, and there were all those real estate people there, and you're like, "What'd you guys spend your stimulus check on?"
Oh yeah, it was for just shy of billionaires that I was doing a show for.
Yeah, Charlene, I guess
you
the
guys
rat's
do
back.
with your
I guess
yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Oh, you guys are doing benefits without
I
me.
was like, I don't know where I got this cup from.
Did somebody leave it there for you?
I literally have
show.
no idea, to be honest.
It's
with
a
you.
good. I mean, it's a quality.
It's a good. It's a little
good
good.
insulated mug, and it looks like
It
I
is.
support children.
I didn't even realize it was for school. I didn't even read it.
Oh,
It's
well,
a
we are talking about
elementary
fantasy
school, yeah.
football. This is my fault. I asked. It's my fault. I am fully aware of that. Fully aware of that.
Well, you know, this is how I get started. So a little chit chat in
Yeah,
here.
yeah. Kyle, I think I already know the answer, but what is your experience with fantasy football?
I've done only betting pools where you just pick the number, like where you don't have to have any knowledge. I really like participating in things where I don't have to have any prior knowledge of how it works.
Like
It's
podcasts.
the only time I succeed. And the closest I got right now, we did like a brackets for The Bachelor one year.
Okay. I mean, I guess it's kind of.
It's
it's relative.
Well,
it lives in
I
the
have
same
no
neighborhood.
idea. I'll tell
Yeah.
you, I have no idea how fantasy football works. Rachel and all her friends were watching The Bachelor, and she rented a room at like a sports bar with TVs in it just to watch The Bachelor. And this group of women that would get together would yell at it just like it was a football game,
like Cowboys Washington kind of.
It was a good time. Like, no, you dumb bitch! Why you don't say that to her? Like, this is a blast.
I mean, like spectacle is always fun if you can handle the people that are insatiable for it. I think spectacle is always kind of a good time. You know, like if you can handle the crowd.
Yeah, I don't understand how fantasy. All I know is my closest interaction with actual fantasy football was when Nate Craig was featuring for me. This was years ago. We're at the DC Improv, and he cut his own set short as a feature because they were doing the fantasy draft that night. And he got off at 15 minutes because he had to go.
Supposed to do like a half hour.
Yeah, he had to go do his fantasy draft.
That is that's bad. Like,
yeah, well,
I do not care that much about it at all. It's like it's a fun night.
He did a short set. So he could do his fantasy draft. I don't know. I think he maybe cut like 4 or 5 minutes off of it.
I did spend Thanksgiving with Nate and his family today or this year. Wonderful people.
Yeah. Oh no, Nate's great. I'm
saying I also watched football with them, and I think he was talking about fantasy football that day. So if you're wondering, he's still doing it. Nate Craig, watch a special live from the Green Mill, produced by Bill Burr.
Yes. How does fantasy football work?
All right. I have done it for probably 15 years.
Shane, I need you to sniff into the mic one more time. There you go. Okay, good. For luck.
I know you're having a hard time.
Very hard at this right now.
She's very red.
Because I like to cut them out because they're disgusting. and I've already marked where he's doing it. So the fact that anyone else even noticed is.
Oh, I'm here in my Shrek's girlfriend shirt. That Rayshawn gave me.
Oh.
Rayshawn gave it to me this past weekend when I was in Portland because one time she said we were pissing and moaning at one another, and she goes, "Shut up, Shane! You look like Shrek's girlfriend."
Damn, that's cold-blooded.
Well, it's not that.
Feeling cute.
You have much daintier ears.
Thank you very much for that.
Mm-hmm.
My experience with fantasy football, you fucking prick, is this. I have done it for about 15 years, probably, off and on.
Yeah.
I always like the social side of it for a little bit. The draft, like, for those of you who don't know, which I'm supposing most.
I don't know how it works at all.
Yeah, I'll explain to you. All right. So it's like you have a fantasy draft, which is basically you get, 8, 10, or 12 people, right, together, and you all have a league. And then you pick certain players in real life and that play the game, essentially, on Sundays in the NFL. And you take a quarterback, and then you take a couple wide receivers, a couple running backs, a defense, a tight end, all these different positions. You draft all of them like you would a regular football team. And based on how those players perform in real life in their games, that's how many points your team gets versus the other team. So it's really like a talent. You're just yeah.
So
and then whoever has the most,
the individual players are ranked against.
Yeah. So
own
like
stats.
if you draft a wide receiver, let's say we both have wide receivers, and your wide receiver got 20 points and mine got 25, I would win. But you do that for a whole team of positions, essentially. So like, and then at the end, the scores are like they're totaled, and whoever has the most win. So like that's basically what it is, and that's how the scoring of the game works. So you need to draft a full team in this draft: quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers, depending on how many positions and slots you want to have for a team, right? And their alternates. And then like this is where the skill of it comes in. It's like, oh, maybe you don't have as good a quarterback to start as I do, but your quarterback in real life that's playing is going up against a horrible defense. So they might light up a bunch of points even though they're not the player that I have. Like that kind. So that's how like the factors work to some degree. I do it every year, almost, and then I only do the draft, and then I forget by week 3. I forget that I'm doing it, and I'm in a text chain that's gone on so long I can't keep up. And
so you're never magically like. Have you ever won at the end? Have you ever?
I've done okay a couple of times, just because I've been the most I've ever been in is 2 leagues at the same time, right, with different people, like people I grew up with, and then comics, and the people I grew up with league is maybe the most offensive text thread I've ever been a part of in my life.
Because isn't that part of it is just being brutal to each other? I mean,
yeah, like you get to be a shitheel, and that's like fun. You're just busting each other. It's basically, like bar culture.
It's an adult frat. It's an adult fraternity.
Yeah, and it's like, I mean, it's a fun enough time. I just can't be invested enough in it to care about it. And some people are very competitive, and some people really like, you can propose trades and you can do all this other shit. It's like, it's consuming and it's fun. I will say the benefit it does give me, or that I get from it, is if there's a game I am not interested in, but I have a fantasy player in, I'll be like, throw him the goddamn ball. Like, I can be invested in that because then I can, like, like,
give you a reason to participate in a
game that means nothing to me, that I have no interest in,
because
but I like
one guy.
Yeah.
All
and
right.
And that shit can be exciting when you're like, oh, I'm down 30 points, but then all of a sudden somebody has an insane game and you beat your friend, and then you get to call him a loser because you're better.
I mean, well, I don't want to sound like this guy, but I would love for anything to make me interested in football.
I know, it's just not your thing.
I know, and I'm not trying to be like, oh, the sports ball. Like, those dorks are just
you're
as
not
bad
like
as the dorks on the other side. But of all the sports, football, I got this is what shaped my disdain for football was, and I've already done a joke about it, I'm the reason there's written exams in physical education. Like, I was such a shitty, uncoordinated, like, putz. They're like, let's just see if he knows the rules, and we can give him a C for physical education. Because I wasn't gonna do a layup. I wasn't gonna do any of this other shit. And so one of the assignments was watch a football game and like document what happens in the football game. My dad didn't give a shit about football, but his dad, my grandfather, the Marine, did.
Yeah.
So he's like, well, I'll just drop you off at your grandpa's house and you can watch football with him. So I had to sit there and take meticulous notes.
Ruin your Sunday and your grandfather's.
Yes, take meticulous notes and then rewrite them because my penmanship was bad. Rewrite what I saw in a 3-hour-long goddamn football game that I didn't want to watch in the first place. I'm like, fuck this, fuck football. I want nothing to do with this ever again. It was this, I caught you smoking, smoke the whole pack thing. I'm like, this is already boring. I can't stay awake. My grandfather's just sitting in his chair, just looking at it, not cheering, just watching it because that's what you did on a Sunday. Didn't explain anything to me. He's like,
no, of course not. Yo, my dad's whole idea of like teaching me about football was me sitting next to him and not interrupting him. And then if there was like a stoppage in play, I'd be like, what happened there? And he'd go, this is why you can't do that. And I'd be like, okay. And then I'd sit there. Yeah. And it was maybe the closest we've ever been. No, there was a guy. It was so funny. I thought about you last because I was on stage and this guy was wearing like a Ditka's Bears sweater vest. You know that classic? Yeah. He was sitting in the front row and he had like a mustache. And I was expecting for him to just be like, "Oh, geez, Christ, you were so funny," but like
doing the whole look.
He had a whole thing going. But that's like, I mean, that's what fantasy football is essentially. It's just a good waste of time.
Yeah.
And it can invest you in some of that stuff, and you get to win a little money if you do it right. And like, if you're invested in it, to me, it's like Magic the Gathering or whatever Dungeons and Dragons kind of. It's just another version of that world, of a world of like hobbyists to enjoy themselves or whatever.
That was the early, when fantasy football was kind of gaining popularity and then it was showing up in comedy. I mean, I had my jokes about it, but everybody had their jokes about like, oh, it's fantasy. Well, put a dragon in there because that's what fantasy is. You're just picking people. That's not fun at all. That's not my fantasy. Yeah. So that was the early iterations of the jokes about it. And that's when I was learning about what fantasy football was. This is where I feel lost because I don't, like, sports aren't my thing, but then I try like role-playing games and I was like, this is just as meticulous as watching football.
Yes. It's
I tried to do a Zoom one like over quarantine with Andrew Orvidal, and I just sat there drinking, and like somebody's rolling the dice and like choose to go left or choose to go up the ladder. I'm like, God damn it with this.
I don't even miss outside anymore.
No, but I could see how these things are exciting for people.
Yeah, I mean that's what it is. It's hobbyism more or less, and just like another way to be invested in. Primarily, I think it's another way for the NFL to give a fuck, to get people to give a fuck who might not be interested in this sport.
Is that the conspiracy? Was it created by the NFL as propaganda?
No, it was created by a bunch of nutty sports fans. There's a documentary about it because these guys used to do it on paper and stuff. It was weird.
Yeah, I'm not going to watch that.
Yeah, I'm not either. But
okay.
But why would we do that for research for this podcast? Anyways,
well, we
Factor
read the
brought to you
links.
by Factor and Fantasy Football DraftKings.
So DraftKings, so that's our sponsor, and that's so you can bet on fantasy on essentially what we're talking about.
Yeah,
Like lots of money.
Yeah, I mean, I just
Call
it's like
1-800 Get Lucky if you have a problem with gambling. What was the number that you're supposed to call? Not Get Lucky. 1-800. Oh no. 1-800. Oh, my wife left. What's the number for if you have problem gambling?
It's gonna be a cold Christmas. No heat in the house because the Bengals went under.
1-800. She took the kids. 1-800. Is that a repo man or just a regular tow truck guy going down the street?
I don't to me I think it's really like the part that's appealing is socially, like I have a reason to talk to 12 of my friends every Sunday via text or hang out with them.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's not, I mean, the way my life is, I can't, like, I can only, it's like the way I can be attached to people to some degree. Like, I get there's some value in that. Like, it gives you a social circle. Because I'm always traveling on Sunday anyways, and that's when most of the football's happening. But,
oh, yeah, true.
But it is nice to, like, there's a couple people who live in the neighborhood who I did a league with last year, and we, like, like, it was like, oh, I'm off on Sunday. What are you doing? He's like, we're going to watch games and just chill out. So it's kind of nice to be invested in that way. And, like, but other than that, man, it gives you a reason to talk to people. It gives you a reason to, like, be like, what do you, like, maybe spend a little more time with folks. So I think that's the very best benefit of it. And then, I've seen some people who emotionally cripple themselves. It matters a little too much to them, I think.
Well, I always thought if you, like, on like a football Sunday, not that I could see this being done by like a YouTube prankster, which I despise, but I always thought, like, why not just pack a flask and a pocket full of snacks and go to Best Buy or something? They already got the TVs set up, and you don't have to deal with the crowds of a bar.
Prices will be better.
Yeah, you're bringing in your own stuff. You're like, I'm getting an aux cable. Don't worry, I'm getting something.
I'm a customer. I bought this set of headphones.
Yeah.
Not the worst idea. It would be fun. The other thing is, like, I mean, we're talking fantasy football, but everything is fantasy drafting now. Like, I think there's
all
like
fantasy everything.
Yeah,
our dear friends, all fantasy everything.
Your dear friends. Fuck Sean Jordan.
Wow. Okay. Icy, ice cold.
We should get them on.
Fantasy.
We should have probably got them on for this podcast.
Yeah,
we should add Sean and see if we can get him as a guest at the end.
We could barely get ourselves together at the same time.
That's true, but we're having fun. But why don't we take a quick little break and listen to this ad from our sponsor, DraftKings. Fantasy football. It's good. It's not bad. Anyways, I'm a big time podcaster. We'll be right back to talk about the good and the bad after this. Get started on your resolutions with Factor so you're ready for the new year. Factor's ready-to-eat meal delivery service takes the stress out of planning and sets you up for success in the new year. Skip the grocery stores, prep work, and cooking fatigue. Instead, get chef-crafted, dietitian-approved meals delivered right to your door with over 35 meals to choose from per week, including options like keto, calorie, smart, vegan, and veggie, Kyle, and more. Plus, over 55 weekly add-ons. You have a ton of nutritious and flavorful options to kickstart your resolutions. I like Factor because I'm always on the road, and when I come home, I just can reach in the freezer, throw it in the microwave, get it done, and then sleep in my bed for 4 hours or 12, whatever I'm feeling that day. What do I got right now? Oh, I got stuffed peppers. So good. And they also sent me a box of little wellness shots. There's like 5 of them. And it's always horrible weather in New York this time of year, so I get a lot of ginger and all these other add-ons that they give me for free because I'm a big-time podcaster now. So, Factor 75 NAFT for 50% off. Head to factormeals.com/NAFT50 and use code NAFT50 to get 50% off. That's code NAFT50 at factormeals.com/NAFT50 to get 50% off. DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL playoffs, is bringing you an offer that'll help make the playoffs electrifying. New customers can bet $5 on any game and get $200 instantly in bonus bets. Let's check the lines right now. Let's see. Sunday at 4:20 East Coast time, we got my Dallas Cowboys playing the Washington Commanders, and Dallas is favored by 13 points, and the over-under is 45.5. So that might be something you want to check out if you're a Cowboys fan or a Commanders fan, formerly known as the Washington football team, and formerly before that, something else.
Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code NAFT. New customers can bet just $5 to get $200 instantly in bonus bets. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook with code NAFT. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.1800gambler.net. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-78-97777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly on behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas. 21 plus age verifies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. See dkng.com/football for eligibility and deposit restrictions, terms, and responsible gaming resources. I gotta stretch my back.
Charlene, please leave that part in. And we're back.
All right.
Kyle was not upset about his contractors during the break.
Nope.
Let's see. What is the good and the bad? And we are back with No Accounting for Taste and talking about fantasy football today. The real-life health effects of fantasy football. The good, it's a solution to loneliness, self-isolation, and can provide a regular source of healthy social interaction. Yeah, like I said.
Is it healthy? Is it healthy?
I think.
It's healthy?
I think anything when you get a group of people together and invest in the same thing can be healthy, and then eventually can border into.
I mean, none of it sounds like people are all psychos about it and they make each other do humiliating. Well, okay, the things that they make their friends do is pretty funny.
Let's get into that. Is this a pun?
Hold on, I don't want to the real life health effects. So, uninterrupted sitting is a risk factor for a wide range of chronic health conditions, including heart disease. I think there's
yeah, it's the fantasy football. It's not the mayonnaise-based diet that most of these people. I can't.
My sports injury is from fantasy football. I got hemorrhoids.
Wow, you're the first premier athlete I've ever seen with congestive heart failure and swollen feet.
Well, there are dart players out there.
Yeah.
Which, completely random side note, Reddit really wanted to push the story of like the youngest dart champion in the world. And the kid was 16. It's not like he sailed across the Atlantic. It was darts.
Well, it's also,
I don't know why but it was like that story was getting pushed so much.
Well, he was also like a junior champion. It wasn't like he never played darts in his life and then suddenly at 16 picked up a dart and then won everything. He already was leveled out. And
it's also
but I
darts.
think more so is that he was 16, but he looked like he was 40. So I think people got more fascinated by the picture.
If you spend all your time in a bar with wood paneling in Cleveland, and it's just a bunch of guys named Murray hanging out. It's not gonna. You're not gonna.
Darts isn't an outdoor sport. It's not a move around and stay young kind of game. Yeah, he's sponsored by Winston cigarettes. I don't think.
Yeah, he's out there. You're not going to see a video of him working out like LeBron with bands and like stepping and doing ladder work and stuff like that. But
He's sponsored by Motor Oil and Old Crow. That's who sponsors darts. He's not. But that, I was just very
he
confused
gets
as to
paid
why
in
that
Pollock
was the
jokes.
story.
Yeah.
That is the commerce in those areas. But I was curious why that story was so prominent for like a week on Reddit. Like, and this youngest dart champion. I'm like, there's like 11-year-olds that have flown airplanes solo across continents. But the guy stood 20 feet away from the wall and had decent aim. Not even. It's like 8
He had the
feet.
best aim. He didn't have decent aim. He had the best aim.
Yeah, out of the other 6 guys playing darts professionally.
All right. Well, there's more planes getting flown across the Atlantic than there are people. Well, that's probably not true. I don't know.
Okay. Anyway,
Yeah,
but
you get where
sorry,
I'm
that
going.
was my just thinking about things that are sports. That
I would love it
are
if we just
much
your
worse
camera
for
moved
you.
slightly to the left and there was a dartboard with nothing but holes around it in your wall right now.
I
in
do.
your
I did
office.
bring a dartboard. It's not set up yet, but I do have a dartboard.
You
now.
fucking prick. I knew there was some catch to this. This kid's not so great.
The quote. No, my argument is why was that a news story being propagated by Reddit for a week, where like every day it would show up in the main news feed as like I thought it was an odd push.
Maybe it's like a George Santos thing. There's something crazier and crazier every time. Like they're like news stories. They're like his
know.
bullseyes are a fourth of an inch bigger than regular bullseyes. I don't
Something
know.
strange. I don't know how I got there. I'm sorry for the distraction.
It's okay. This podcast is not known for staying on track.
Yeah. The good and bad of fantasy football. The good, I guess it's
Impact on brain. Well,
yeah,
Charlie wrote
brain
this.
health.
Requires you to use different data sources when monitoring players and their stats and ever-shifting circumstances. Like I was saying, like a great quarterback going up against a horrible defense could give you an advantage. So there's like there are variables in it if you want there to be, if you want to think about it that much, and serious people do. I don't.
Oh, really? Do they?
Yeah.
How do you
they'll be
pick
like,
your
they'll be like, okay, like, well, each team has to have a quarterback, and like,
so how do you get your quarterback?
But you can pick from any quarterback?
yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I'm going to explain this because this might actually keep us on track for 38 seconds.
Okay.
Please
All right.
do.
All right. I'm going to say there is to your starting roster.
Right.
Let's say it has 7 positions.
Uh-huh.
8. All right. 1 is a quarterback.
Sure.
You would have 2 running backs,
Okay.
2 wide receivers. That
Yeah.
puts you at 5 already, right?
Uh-huh.
Tight end,
Uh-huh.
kicker,
Okay.
and a defense. So that's your 8.
That's 8. Uh-huh.
Okay. You would draft on the day you guys draft.
Nothing wrong with a little fanfare.
Balloons. You fucking asshole. It's like you texted me congratulations.
No, it's you that does it. If you do, did you not know this? Now we're gonna get way off track. Yeah, it's your computer that's doing it because you have a brand new one. You do different symbols. Like if you do devil horns, something will happen. Well, those aren't very good devil horns. Maybe.
Oh, well, fuck off. Like
That's peace signs. Yeah, that's like antlers.
Peace signs.
Mine's not doing it right. I'm just looking like a fucking idiot.
That's right. Cool, because you have a PC. It's a Mac that does it.
Okay.
Oh.
Well, God damn it. I'm going to turn
You
that
can
off.
do
Mitch.
lasers somehow.
That was accidental. I thought you
Bang,
did
bang,
that,
bang, bang.
Charlene.
No, I didn't
yeah, we
do
gotta
that.
find
He
out
did
about
it
this.
himself.
For the listener who is not watching this on video,
You should be. For
I was
starters.
unaware. I made a hand gesture, and now my Mac released a bunch of balloons into our Zoom chat
Wait,
digitally.
I
And
think
I-
if you
hand
do
gesture?
I think if you do a peace sign, something happens. There you go.
Balloons. Yeah. Okay.
Balloons.
God damn it. Back to the 8. Are you guys still with me on this?
I can't remember what the lasers are. This is the best one.
I'm not going to listen
sucks.
to anything
This
you say
fucking
until you
sucks.
figure out the lasers.
Look, listen here. I want to tell you guys something. Wait, more balloons. More balloons. Nothing. No balloons. I didn't even have to make the.
Well, you're just doing the jerk off gesture.
Yeah,
now
maybe
for
something
those-
fun will happen. You asked. I'm trying to answer.
I know.
Are you with me on the positions that I listed? I'm not showing my hands in this screen again.
Oh,
There's
okay.
guys. Yeah, there's different players.
In
We've
different
got 8
positions.
players in different
Yeah.
positions
On
yeah.
your starting team, right?
Yes.
So when you draft, you need to draft a quarterback, at least 2 running backs, at least 2 wide receivers, a tight end, a kicker,
How
and
many?
a defense.
2?
I'm not doing it. Yeah, sure. And of those, and then you have a bench, of reserves, right? Because sometimes people have bye weeks or players get injured or whatever. So you might need an extra wide receiver or blah blah blah. But you might be like, oh, my wide receiver one of them I have starting this week, you motherfuckers, is playing a defense in cold weather, so they're less likely to throw the football. And this defense is a really good pass defense. So he's probably not going to see the ball as much. So you might move him out for a lesser wide receiver who's playing a horrible defense inside where there's not going to. That's what they're talking about.
Every week you make up your own
Yes, you can
team.
rotate players in and out, and then you can be like, I don't have good running backs. But I have 4 great wide receivers. And then you'll be like, I'll trade another team 2 wide receivers for 1 great running back so I can kind of solidify this position since I have depth and stuff like.
Oh.
You see what I'm saying?
This
that
is more
sounds boring.
complicated than I thought. Yeah.
Yeah. Essentially, that's it.
If you
And
do the
anyways,
devil
guys,
horns, that's how the laser devil horn. Maybe it's 2.
Hold it still. Awesome. That's so awesome. See, that was worth it. That was totally worth it.
I like that it's so clear when I was taking the time to explain this shit. Charlene was searching for how do I make the lasers go on the map.
Oh yeah, I missed everything you were saying. I was waiting for you to accidentally
so
start.
fucking
something.
mad about
Well,
this.
because I was just like, oh, this is just math.
This is really cool.
Looks like our production budget went up a bit. But
So
that's
how do you-
essentially it.
Then I missed the part. How do you get those players then?
That's what the draft is for. You do that. That happens one day a year, and that is your team.
So that's
then-
why everybody's got a hard on for that day.
Yeah, and then
But you can pick from any player.
yeah.
How do you
How
draft?
many total players are there?
I mean, there's probably, I would say each team, if you're starting 8 positions in the
Yeah.
league, you probably have 12 to 15 because you need backups. And it's sometimes there's bye weeks, which off weeks or whatever,
How do you
Right.
draft how do you draft the players in the beginning? How do you know which?
Well, you
players
want the
get?
best ones, right? Obviously,
how do
You go
how
in
do you
order. How do you know?
you go in
what
order, or there's
Order some boys.
there's a serpentine draft, which
oh,
you know from
yes,
All
of
Fantasy
course.
everything.
I know what that
Yeah.
is. Yeah.
And then there are also randomized draft. If you picked,
Pick a name out of a hat or something.
yeah, kind of they'll just jumble it. There's a bunch of different ways
Oh,
they do it.
okay.
And then you can also, and then at the end, let's say you get all your players and you're like, this is the team I have.
Right.
So I guess it gets interesting when obviously everybody knows who the best players are.
Yeah.
Charlie's just
I'm just
yawning
like,
into
this is so, I can't imagine doing anything.
I know, but I'm
I know,
trying.
I don't care.
I'm trying, guys. I'm trying so hard.
Well,
Lasers.
Just
amazing that something with the word fantasy in it could be so boring.
but
We're
that's
de- but,
so
we're
I
defending
guess
it,
the
though.
I guess the depth of it and people who are actually very good at it, you would know if you were going to draft a basketball player throughout the history of time, which one would you draft? Pick Sam.
Irving Magic Johnson.
Okay.
I can't
Everybody
tell
knows
you.
who he is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you know who all the best players are. So they're going to go off the board in the first couple of rounds. But then to fill out your team, you need to pick players that might not be as valuable, be the best of the medium players who add more value
Yeah.
for essentially less at a lesser price, or a lesser consequence.
There's strategizing.
Yes, there really is.
Okay.
And I'm like, and by the way, like I said, I do that draft and then I forget about everything. So I'm not that invested. I haven't set my fantasy roster in like 9 weeks, and it's a 17-week season.
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of stuff. But that's essentially like the people who are very into it. That's what they get into. Let's look at the punishments, because I'd love to figure out.
Okay, yeah, I'm not. The explanation of how it works is like. I can't. I mean, we're defending it. I can't criticize or defend. I think the punishments are funny, but I don't have a thought one way or another. It makes you happy. It keeps you from getting. Your brain stays healthy, but you get heart disease. You got to trade one for the other.
Yeah. So these are some. Here are some fun, like, I guess for whoever loses, people get to pick punishments for them, or there's a consequence.
Do you ever do that? Does that ever happen?
No, we do money, but I think with comedians, it could get very mean, very, very quickly. You know, there's some pretty creative friends in our circles.
That sounds way more fun, figuring out the punishment.
This one is pretty. Champion gets to name your team. This one is pretty painless and involves naming the other places. If you're the kind of person who does, that seems like for people who are very into fantasy football, be playing with the same group for years. So
or you have that one person.
And Kyle got to call me the Laser Boys or whatever for whatever.
Right.
Laser Boys is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Okay, number 3 on this list is stand-up comedy. Make somebody do. Our profession is a punishment for losing for somebody else. That's pretty wild.
Yeah.
A challenge at IHOP. One of the best fantasy football last place punishments involves pancakes or waffles. Find an IHOP or Waffle House next. To loser at the end of the season has to spend 24 hours at the location. There's some good news. They can knock off 1 hour for each full-size pancake or waffle they eat.
I don't understand why that's a punishment, though. It's just Waffle House.
I mean, would you really want to sit in IHOP for 24 hours?
Well, first of all, Waffle House was on the list, so I would 100% stay at a Waffle House for 24 hours. It's the best people watching that you could do.
Okay, but that's you're not going to do that for 24 hours. There's no way you would.
But let's
Have
do
you
the
been
math.
to a Waffle House?
I mean, the last time I went to one was with Kyle pre-pandemic. It looks the same.
We're doing the math. How many? First off, how many waffles or pancakes do you think you could eat?
How long do you think it'll take me to eat 24 pancakes?
Well, I'm saying you're eating them, so you get there. You got to spend 24 hours. I think that I could realistically eat
8.
Well, but per hour, you got to think that what you're consuming when you get there is going to take time off the back end. So you got to pace yourself.
Right.
You're going to eat 8 waffles in one sitting. You still got
16 hours.
16 hours.
15 and a half or whatever.
And now you feel like shit.
Right.
Versus, all right, I'm going to try and cut this in. I bet I could eat 3 waffles every hour. So in the first 3 hours, it's 9.
Right.
Yeah, okay, I see where you're going.
You know, that's what I'm saying. Like, mathematically, what do you think you could eat? Do you think you get sick of the taste?
Fuck. I mean, I think I could get.
No, because they have 5.
I think I could
different
probably
kinds
if I wanted to feel okay,
different flavors, different syrups.
Yeah.
If I wanted to feel okay, I think I could do 4 an hour pancakes.
4 an hour.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in 3 hours,
I wonder what my dough mile time would slow down to after the first. Like, I think
that's what I mean. It's diminishing returns.
Yeah. So that's what I'm thinking. There is a brilliant episode of Review, if you guys remember Andy Daly's TV show on Comedy Central. Did you ever watch? It's maybe my favorite thing that Comedy Central ever did, but it was one of the episodes, like he reviews life experience of the show. One of the episodes is what's it like to eat 15 pancakes? And then the next one is like, his next challenge is what's it like to get divorced? And he has to get divorced. And then the third one is what's it like to eat 30 pancakes?
Oh no.
And he's just like, he just says things like, this isn't food. If you've never watched it, It is. I mean, it's an incredible show. It's so funny. I piss my pants laughing sometimes. It's so goddamn funny.
This is just making me want, because I just starting my day over here, so I'm getting excited.
I kind of want a
pancakes
waffle now.
Right? Yeah, I'm pretty hungry for some breakfast.
Champions take over social post. That's pretty fun. If I had
we really ran right through the fact that stand-up comedy is a punishment for fantasy football. Because as a stand-up comic,
it's offensive.
Having fantasy football explained to me is a punishment. So. I guess,
Kyle, look, I'm trying my best to have fun with you on this right now.
Not by you, Shane. The concept of it. I like that you make the face too. It's like you have and this is a compliment. You have a terrifying metal face.
It's a perfect face for lasers.
Yeah,
you could also.
It's
It's the perfect face for. What's the heart? I can't even do. I can't even do the heart.
Yeah, you're making like a tomato.
Yeah. There it is. There it is.
Oh, you did it! Look at
you! Hearts appeared.
What are the other ones?
No! God damn it! We're finishing this draft about this.
Fantasy draft Max new Zoom additives.
Okay.
Do this.
Do thumbs up. Do thumbs up. Do a thumbs up. Shane, do a thumbs up. Yeah!
It's fireworks.
Oh no! It's raining.
It's always raining in my head.
Shane's gonna do this to himself after we hang up.
Yeah, I am not, you jerk.
You're gonna have the best day just making your own videos. This rules. This is better than fantasy football.
Okay. Let's go to the punishment generator before we get to calls, because we have been talking about fantasy football for 50 minutes. Kind of.
Well, I know, but hold on. Take over somebody's
social post.
Social post? That can go horribly wrong.
Yeah, I would think it would be fun to I see the appeal as a punishment to people, but God, in our leagues, people
I wouldn't trust that. That's you ruin somebody's life.
Yeah,
you get a hate crime on you. What is an NFL Combine? What is that?
It's where all the players show up.
Like in my head, like they have to outrun farm equipment. Like there's a thresher chasing them, and that's how they get in shape. It's not it.
It's when all the college athletes get together and their measurables, stats are how fast they can run a 40-yard dash, how high they can jump. What's their body mass? There are different drills for different kinds of positions and stuff, and different kinds of players.
Let's size up these boys.
Yeah, pretty much. They really are. It's like a stockyards kind of thing. It's a little gross.
Okay, this keeps getting better.
But it is what they do. Let's go to the punishment generator.
This is nice.
Kyle, you want to start? I am over 18.
Okay. I am over.
Oh, thank you, Charlene. What type of punishment?
Food or drink? I'm putting it to 5.
Okay, so just for the listener, there's Charlene found something called a punishment generator for fantasy football. There's a dial, and there are different kinds of punishment. Private shame, public shame, physical activity, and food or drink. And then a meter ranging from 1 to 5 on how intense any of these punishments should be. Did I do a good job of explaining that? I think
you did. Great job.
I just did food or drink. I put it up to 5. I said make it extra spicy, and all it was take a shot of the 3 hottest sauces at Buffalo Wild Wings. Mango habanero, wild, and blazing knockout sauces. Oh, and then I guess, I don't know, kiss your grandmother. This is for pussies, man.
I mean,
it is brought to us
made by Buffalo Wild Wings, so I'm not sure why you're surprised.
What's the physical activity?
Buy all your friends.
5.
Generate punishment.
Channel your inner Aaron Rodgers and ignore the vaccine and
go on a darkness.
Go on a darkness retreat.
What is a darkness
Shane, you want to take this one?
Aaron Rodgers said he was gonna go do some weird meditative
like ayahuasca.
I don't know if it was ayahuasca, but like a darkness retreat where he was going to go and like clear his head.
Okay.
And do this darkness retreat for a set amount of days. And if I'm remembering correctly, Aaron Rodgers, who I met in Burt Kreischer's tour bus, who told us when we were wearing masks a few years ago that he was fine. And then a week later, was diagnosed with COVID, and it came out that he did not get vaccinated, which was hilarious and also kind of scary for us. Because if we cost the Green Bay Packers, if one of us gave him COVID, I would never be able to go back to Wisconsin. That kind of thing. But it was but he was like going to go on this darkness retreat, I guess is what it was called, where he would just go sit in like a very completely darkened room or tent or something for a couple of days and meditate and like I guess I don't know all the ins and outs of it, but that's essentially what it was. It's like some kind of, that was basically bonus. Like when you go to Joshua Tree and eat mushrooms. He was just trying to get enlightened.
Bonus, if you can eat pancakes in the dark, you could take an hour off the retreat. But you gotta
buddy, I'm always eating pancakes in the dark.
You gotta wonder. No, it's like we just slide them under the door, solitary confinement style, and you don't know if it's like a pancake, a waffle, or maybe just like a wet towel. Like a hot, wet towel covered in syrup, and you got.
Or the rat from Charlene's apartment after Buster killed him.
Oh my God, Buster's buddies. These are not like
they're not great.
Real scary.
No, but I do like the idea of a randomized punishment generator for something like this.
Public shame. Sign up for an open mic night. This is really the worst thing that the sports people can think of is go
because they have to
open
speak.
mic. It explains some things I've seen at open mics.
Yes, it does.
What was your first open mic, Shane?
The Hungry Tiger 2, TOO, as well, in Portland, Oregon.
Really?
Yep, I did.
So you moved to Portland not to do comedy. You just moved to Portland to move to Portland.
I kind of packed up and left Texas. I had like a bit of a freak out, and I was like, I'm going to die behind this bar, this TGI Fridays bar. So
So you moved to Portland and worked at a TGI Friday? I'm sorry. Isn't that where you worked? That is what it looks like when you work at a TGI Fridays in Portland.
No, I left because I was like, I didn't know what I wanted to do. And then I was like, I'm going to go to San Francisco and finish my degree. And then I didn't end up doing that. And I just kept going north, ran out of money. Bartended for a few years, then found comedy. But I always liked it. It was just, there was no place to do it in Texas where I was from.
Yeah. I find it interesting that this is like the most terrifying.
Yeah. No, it is weird that like the thing we have chosen to do with our lives and are good at.
Yeah. I just know it's like the public speaking thing. It's the old Seinfeld bit, but like make people play real football. Make these.
That would be. Run
couch quarterbacks play real football. That's terrifying to me.
Run 20 plays nonstop. Oh God, that would be great.
Yeah, do the tire thing. Make these people do the tire thing for
the flipping,
or like where you like
Oh, wait.
You gotta run.
In every montage in a football movie that ever existed.
Anytime there's like an athlete that needs to be better athlete,
you're the best.
Jesus, Mary and Joseph.
Montage. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's
You see the teenage dart
these aren't like
doing the whole
it
thing.
is like weird that they're being shitty about stand-up comedy, but I guess people are just horrified of it. By the way, I don't know if you guys watched Goldman's new special, but maybe he has the best burn I've ever heard of. He goes, there was a comic, he was relevant for a while, he had a moment, and he goes, do you guys remember Jerry from Seinfeld?
That's funny.
He's talking about the wage disparity between him and Jerry Seinfeld. It was very funny.
Funny.
Well, then we could all talk about the wage disparity between us and Gary Goldman. It'll bite you in the ass, Gary.
True.
You're doing theaters. I don't know if he is. I don't know. Anyway.
He's doing good. I like it.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah.
But keep it. There is a list of banned things you can't do for this punishment list, like no haircuts, no eyebrow. Like, what's the point? What, I gotta like make Kyle eat 10 pancakes? I don't. Let's do something.
Make me.
But let's raise the stakes a bit here.
Yeah, suck my dick, dude.
Oh,
Kyle's got to suck my dick.
Wow. Wow.
Them's the rules.
Okay.
Make it count.
Lost.
Should have drafted a
Let's
better
make
kicker,
it-
bro. Get on my knob.
Let's make it count.
Oh my
Why don't we take a break? We'll be right back with this word from our sponsors. Thank you so much for listening to this podcast. It's crazy that you're still listening. All right, and we're back. Meow, meow, meow. We're in the litter box. This is where we get the calls from all of you talking about fantasy football, my little buckaroos.
It was too harsh when I mentioned the oral sex. I'm sorry. I just thought that was.
Thanks for bringing it back up.
I just thought that's what you want to make things extreme. That's what that's what scared jock dudes would do. Be like, all right, well, it's not gay if it's because you lost fantasy football. That'd be the loophole. That'd be the loophole one closeted bro is waiting for.
He's like, then they're just like, why is Kyle starting four kickers and no quarterbacks?
So I lost? That means I have to suck all your dicks? Oh no! And then. You can
Guess I better start getting my mouth ready.
Oh, so we've got some calls.
We sure do.
Yeah. Here's the first
Factor. DraftKings.
Here's the first one.
DraftKings.
What's up, Shane, Kyle, Shardog, calling about fantasy football. Fantasy football for people who are not good at football or fantasy. Anyone who invests that much time into hoping one guy does good on some random team and that is their vested interest for the week. I shouldn't shit on people's weird idiosyncrasies, but man, it's the dumbest shit I ever seen in my entire life. And thank you guys for the baddest podcast ever. Blue-Eyed Mexican was great.
Oh, thanks, man.
Socks and Struts was great. Can't wait for Dirt Nap. Rest in peace. Love you guys. Thank you for everything you do.
Thanks for listening, man. Like and subscribe. Share the pod with your friends. Gonna say it because we got to get this thing off the ground.
Yeah.
It is a fantasy football with no air in it. I get it. I get what he's saying. It's but I think that's the easiest way for people to boil this down without having to try to understand. Obviously, it's a little meat. It can be a bit meatheady, and people who want to be invested in it or overly invested are doing it. But it's not it's pretty harmless. And for me, it's social. It's fun to see all my friends call my other friends idiots, morons in creative ways because they have a kicker.
I guess it's an excuse to shit talk without feelings getting hurt, maybe. Where I know we could bust balls, and maybe sometimes I know I cross the line too much, and then I wake at night, going, I probably didn't have to say it like that or something. So
it's just bar talk essentially around, and it's
but you're putting the gloves on so you can have a little fun.
Yeah. I will say this, if you don't drink and you want to go watch football with your friends at a bar, this is a way for you to be invested and still have fun.
That's true.
Yeah, so I'll give it that. That's the most ringing endorsement I have for it so far.
That's trying to give somebody an excuse to be at a bar if they don't drink has got to be a tough.
Yeah, but that'll do it, Yeah. Yeah. Let's listen to our next call.
Okay.
Shane Torres, it's Joey Green. I went to high school with you, buddy. I love fantasy football, except I pulled up the rear all year this year. I got 9th in one league, 10th in the other, and 6th in a 7-man league. So I don't like it much this year. I do like the run your pool thing a little bit more. I have more luck at that this year. But miss you, buddy. If you ever get to Nashville, holler at your boy Joey Green. Take care.
All right. Joey Green, country music artist in Nashville, guy I went to high school with, nice, talented, sweet guy. I will be there. I'm going to take this as an opportunity to plug. In the month of February, I will be there on February 8th at Zany's. Tickets are selling fast, weirdly enough.
That's in a month.
Yep. And then I'll be in Chicago, Kyle's hometown, the next 2 days at the Zany's in Old Town. So come out to that too. But Joey, 3 leagues is a lot for me to keep up with. And I don't know what did he say? Draft your own pool, or he said there was something else in there.
Yeah, that is what he said, but I don't understand.
I don't know what that is, but if anybody wants to call in and tell us what it is for the forthcoming Patreon, please go right ahead. Now, Joey, you're welcome to come to a show. Tweet about it. I know you have a fan base there. I was lying about how well tickets are moving.
You're welcome to come to a show.
Yeah.
And also
with your
bring
audience.
20 people.
I'm over our previous grievances.
We're doing okay. I'm going to try and get Jelly Roll to come out.
That's a guy.
Yeah. He's nice.
Is he a rapper or is he a...
He's both.
What's he do?
He's both. He's a rapper and a country artist.
I didn't say another thing. Okay.
Yeah. He's a real
He's
nice guy.
both. He's a rapper and a pastry.
I'll eat 20 Jelly Rolls anytime you let me have them. Yum, yum,
That
yum,
goes back to the thing I was saying. Okay.
Yeah. Well, as Charlene corrals her dog, we might get another call up eventually if she gets on her shit.
Busters.
What's up, guys? Meow, and all that, stuff. Fantasy football, right? Okay. So, I like football. And, I've fallen off into it in my teenage years because, I was too busy smoking weed and doing coke, as you do. But, once I hit, 25, I got back into football, and fantasy football allowed me to take not only one team that I watch just once a week, it allowed me to get players from all of those teams and then watch them all and then see a variety of skill across the league and be interested in it and have it in front of me. And not only that, but to compete against my douchebag friends for a little bit of money. We all talk shit. And it's just a bonding experience between dudes at the age of 30, which is hard to do. So I like it. I can see how it's a little douchey and dudes take it too far. Also, that fucking guy who lied about being a 9/11 in the show about fantasy football, fuck that guy. But aside from that, it's pretty cool. Anyway, I hope you guys are having a good 2024. We'll see you later.
Thanks, man. A happy New Year to you, too. Thank you for the call.
He was drafting his fantasy victimhood. Steven is easy.
Let's listen to one or two more and then...
Okay.
The
rest of them are pretty long, so let's just end on this one.
Okay. This is our last call.
Time. Okay, here we go.
Hey, Kyle, Shane, Charlene. Love you all so much.
Thank you.
I started a fantasy football league in Chicago that has been running for 10 years now. I don't live in Chicago anymore, but it's a great way for us to always reconnect. Even one of our commissioners wanted to focus on the fantasy side of fantasy football. So he showed up as a wizard, dressed up as a wizard, and we've been keeping it up. We're all across the country, and it's a great way for people to, reconnect and, be engaged in games. We even do side bets where the loser sends the other person a postcard, which is very nice to keep in touch. The bad side of fantasy football, though, is that if any random person wants to talk to you about their fantasy team, it's like the adult equivalent to a kid coming up to you who wants to show them their Pokemon cards.
Okay.
And so you can only be interested so much in some fantasy team. It's like, all right, cool, yeah, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, there's good sides and bad sides. Love the show. I try to tell as many people about it.
Thank you.
Meow, meow. Take care, guys. Bye.
Hey, you take care, too. Thanks. Great final call. I like that the one guy showed up as a wizard.
bridging the gap between autism and athletics.
Yeah. Yeah. So where do you guys land on fantasy football after this?
Indifferent.
So I feel like I was trying to row back to shore with one oar. That's what.
But it's I kind of was annoyed by everybody into it, but that I was a person that was like, "Oh, you like a thing and I don't get it, so it's probably stupid." I was a shitty person. That my attitude was wrong. Now it does seem like thank you for explaining it, Shane. I truly did not know how it worked.
Yeah. Do you guys want to do a fantasy football? Ooh, for
Not at all.
Patreon, we'll do a fantasy football league with our top 12 Patreon people next year.
Okay.
God, that would be amazing to see how mad Kyle would get.
You mean how much I'd participate in the first 10 minutes and ignore it like you said you do? Because
the punishment, think how good this would be. Pretty good for us. Honestly, we should talk about that for the Patreon that's coming someday.
We got a lot of Patreon ideas, no Patreon.
Yeah.
It
That's true.
exists. The Patreon
Oh, does
exists.
it? All right,
Yeah,
go over there,
yeah.
give us some money. Once in a
It
while, we'll
does.
put something in there. But I don't see any harm in it, and it does seem like these punishments are pretty funny. The guy that they made him go by himself to see the musical Cats while also dressed like a cat. That
I missed that. That's good.
That is very, very funny to me. It's totally harmless and it's creative. And I have to give jocks or people that like, that's me. Like I have my old high school chip on my shoulder. It's like, wait a minute. These are just very funny people that are punking out their friends for losing a silly made up contest. It seems
fun.
Pretty benign and nice. And
It's like a little
I'm for
like,
fantasy football now. I dig it. I'm not going to play it, but I dig it.
I think we do it, and then we get like fantasy gurus to coach you and me, and then whoever loses. I don't know. We'll figure out some fucking horrible punishment to do to one another.
We'll have to do stand up comedy.
All right, guys.
The horror.
Yeah. Thank you very much for calling in, everyone, and for listening. We really appreciate it. We hope you're off to a good new year. Please give us a ring at 971-259-8302 with suggestions for topics, your opinions on the subjects we're covering, things you'd like to see us do, and we can't wait to hear from you guys on there. Kyle, tell them where they can find you, please.
At Kyle Kinane on the socials. I don't run any of them, but that's where the information is. Or KyleKinane.com for show dates. Just come to shows, please.
You got any shows coming up? You got to pay for that pretty new pad? Where are you going to be?
Everywhere, all the time, forever. Go to sign up for band. I'm on band. I will promote bands in town just because that's the method I use to put in emails that go out. Like if you follow in a certain area, I can target the area. Like, okay, if I'm going to whatever city, I pick a radius, emails will go out to you. So I would say follow me on bands in town to get information about upcoming shows in your area. You'll get a direct email from me. You could tell because there's misspellings and a cat picture in most of them. So
okay. Well, right. I'm gonna have to talk to you about that. You can find me at Shane Torres across the internet, pretty much on all platforms. ShaneIsAComedian.com. I will be coming to Cincinnati the 19th and 20th of this month, which is January, if you're listening to it as this goes up. And then I will be in Albuquerque, New Mexico at Quesadas Comedy Club, hanging out with my people. I'm sure it'll be a good time. And
isn't that the guy from Breaking Bad?
I was wondering if that was the case, but I think it
is.
Yeah. I think
Agent
Steve
thing.
I think Agent Steve Gomez from Breaking Bad might have opened a comedy club, and that's where I'm going to play.
In Albuquerque, right?
Yeah.
Albuquerque needs something. I've always tried to figure out a way to play there. I'm glad they got a club.
Come out to see me in old Albuquerque. Anyways, ShaneIsAComedian.com. Thank you to Charlene, our super amazing producer, who was also kind of a jerk to me today. And
listen, when you found out you could do the hand gestures and make special effects, how exciting was it?
I don't know what you're talking about.
See? How exciting is that? That's very exciting.
I mean, I got it. It sucks that when we found out. It fucking sucks that we found out about it when I was trying to explain something. I just did it with my hands, and you guys got to laugh so goddamn hard. I thought it was something you two did to me. But yeah, come out, see us, guys. Thank you so much for listening. Please subscribe to the podcast on YouTube. Subscribe to our YouTube channels in general, Kyle's and mine. We're really trying to keep up with some of the people who are very good at the internet.
Make the heart.
I'm trying. How do I do the heart? Is it like?
Oh my god! Just bend your fingers. There you go.